Hello and welcome to this CFA career webinar on the internal audit profession. My name is Elina Savvides and I currently serve as a senior internal auditor at Hellenic Bank. Today, we will explore the internal audit profession, talk about the daily responsibilities of an internal audit manager, discuss about the connection with the CFA program, and provide some insights for those interested in pursuing a career in this field. Before diving into details, let me share a bit about my professional background. I started my career in 2008 at Aon London, where I was an investment consultant providing investment advisory services to UK pension schemes. There, I also pursued my CFA charter. In 2012, I moved to PwC Cyprus, where I was a senior manager in the risk compliance and regulation advisory practice, providing regulatory compliance advisory services to financial institutions and internal audit outsourcing services to companies in various industries. In 2020, I transitioned to the internal audit unit at Hellenic Bank, where I currently lead audit engagements on various regulatory compliance areas, as well as centralized operations of the bank, and I am also involved in special investigations relating to potential misconduct and breaches of regulations. Let's start by talking about the role of the internal audit unit and the internal audit manager. The internal audit unit in any organization is an independent function responsible for evaluating and providing recommendations for improvements in processes, controls, and governance. The internal audit unit usually works based on an annual audit plan, which is formed following a comprehensive risk assessment of the organization's operations in order to prioritize audits based on their risk profile, also taking into account any regulatory requirements and the organization's strategic objectives. Other than these planned audits, there are various ad hoc audits or investigations that need to be performed, prompted by various incidents such as fraud, misconduct, changes in regulations, or changes in business. In this context, the internal audit manager plays a critical role in overseeing the entire internal audit process. The internal audit manager will plan the audits for the year based on the annual audit plan, considering the appropriate timing in coordination with the audit unit, and will allocate resources as necessary based on capacity as well as expertise of each auditor in the internal audit team. It is important that the internal audit manager manages the work and the team in order to ensure that the ad hoc audits are performed while not affecting the planned audits based on the annual audit plan. The internal audit manager is responsible for overseeing and guiding the team during the execution of the audit stage. The internal audit manager will lead a risk assessment at the beginning of the audit in order to identify the high-risk areas and determine the scope and objectives of the audit. The internal audit manager will lead a kick-off meeting, usually with the audit unit, in order to explain the objectives of the audit and gather the relevant information. During the execution of the testing, the internal audit manager will review all the work of the audit team, including the audit program prepared, which includes the detailed testing that will be performed, guide and review the work of the audit team during the testing phase, and review the audit findings at completion of the audit. Depending on his capacity, the audit manager may also be involved in performing the actual testing during the testing phase. The internal audit manager will communicate with the management of the audit unit to explain the audit findings arising and to discuss and agree on the recommendations and actions to be taken. The internal audit manager also reviews the internal audit report, which should also be signed off by the chief internal auditor, and is involved in presenting the results of the audit to the management and the board audit committee. The internal audit manager is also responsible for performing the risk assessment of his areas of responsibility, which will inform the audit planning process for the following year. The internal audit manager typically reports to the chief internal auditor, hence they have regular communication in order to talk about the progress of work and discuss any issues and concerns arising. The internal audit manager role differs depending on the type of organization. For example, typically in larger organizations, multinational organizations, or highly regulated companies, We see that the audit work scope is much wider, spanning across specialized regulations, complex of the operations of the organization, risk assessment, financial, regulatory, IT security reviews. Hence, there is a wider and more complex range of audits that need to be supervised. Also, in these organizations, internal audit units tend to be larger, with specialized teams responsible for covering specialized audit areas. Also, in such organizations, there is also already use of digital tools, which on the one hand streamline processes and improve the efficiency of performing the audit, but on the other hand may add a layer of complexity for the audit manager to manage the work using such new tools. In contrast, in smaller organizations, we see that the audit teams tend to be smaller, consisting maybe of one person or a small team, and the scope of the audits is more focused on the core operations of the organizations and the key concerns and issues, and usually the audit manager needs to have a more broad-based approach and cover audits in various areas rather than specialized areas. Now, in terms of governance, in Cyprus, we see that usually all the audit units report to the Board Audit Committee. However, in larger organizations where there are more established governance structures and processes for dealing with audit findings, we see that the execution of the audit is smoother, while in smaller organizations, we see a greater degree of resistance in performing the audit and less communication with the senior executives of the organization. Overall, the internal audit manager's role combines strategic oversight with hands-on involvement in planning, team supervision, review, and stakeholder communication. Let's move on to talk about some of the common challenges traditionally faced in the profession. Resistance from auditees and pressure from management is a common challenge. The resistance may take many forms, such as delays in cooperation, reluctance to provide information, or even pressure to alter audit findings. Another common challenge is maintaining independence and objectivity. As internal auditors are increasingly taking on advisory roles, this can sometimes blur the line between providing advice and maintaining objectivity, especially if the same auditor later audits the same process they advised on. Managing the various stakeholders' expectations also presents a challenge. Internal audit managers must balance the diverse priorities of senior management, the audit committee, and regulators, and aligning audit activities to satisfy all parties may be difficult. Auditors may encounter ethical issues such as fraud or misconduct, which can be especially difficult if senior executives are involved. The internal audit profession faces additional challenges as well as opportunities as it evolves with emerging industry trends. Over the next decade, internal audit functions are expected to undergo significant changes driven by advances in technology, increasing regulatory demands, and growing focus on strategic management. These trends are also in line with the areas of focus of the recently revised IIA internal audit standards. As in many other fields, technological advancements require internal auditors to stay current with tools such as data analytics, artificial intelligence, and robotic process automation. As internal audit functions adapt digital tools, they increasingly use continuous auditing and real-time data analysis to monitor controls and risks instead of periodic audits. This enables auditors to provide ongoing assurance and improve effectiveness while streamlining routine audit tasks at the same time. Additionally, with greater resilience on technology coupled with rising cyber threats and strict data privacy regulations, auditing of the organization's digital transformation initiatives, new technologies, and cybersecurity have become more critical. All of these present a challenge for auditors to develop the skills necessary to effectively use the digital tools available, as well as develop strong IT and cybersecurity knowledge required for auditing the emerging risks. Audit committees, boards, and other relevant stakeholders are looking for internal auditors to play a more strategic role by assessing risks that could affect long-term value creation, including those related to market disruptions and regulatory changes. As a result, internal auditors are expanding from their traditional focus and are playing a more strategic role, evaluating governance structures, risk culture, and emerging risks such as those related to digital transformation, new business models, and geopolitical events. Regulatory compliance remains a core focus for internal auditors, and the regulatory landscape is constantly changing, especially in highly regulated industries like finance. This requires internal auditors to continuously adapt to evolving regulations. These trends highlight the growing demand for specialized skills in IT auditing, data analytics, risk management, and regulation. This need has created a talent shortage and skills gap, making it challenging for audit teams to find qualified professionals and ultimately increasing the workload for audit managers. Given the various challenges faced in the profession, it is important for internal auditors to develop the required skills and for internal audit units to take action and establish processes in order to safeguard the effectiveness of the internal audit work. To effectively address the evolving regulation and technological advancements, continuous professional development is critical. Audit teams must stay informed about emerging regulations, technology, and industry standards through ongoing trainings, seminars, and workshops. Regulatory updates can be sourced internally where available. For example, at my organization, the compliance unit monitors and communicates regulatory changes to relevant units, or by subscribing to regulatory websites, research reports, and industry publications. Engagement with industry groups such as those by the Association of Cyprus Banks or professional bodies like the Cyprus Institute of Internal Auditors helps auditors in staying aligned with industry trends and best practices. Involvement of the audit team at early stages of key developments is also valuable. In my organization, the internal audit unit is often involved in significant new regulations or system implementations, either as observers or by offering recommendations during the implementation phase. Larger organizations, including my organization, often have quality assurance teams within the internal audit unit to monitor audit quality, identify training needs, drive process improvements, or undertake the implementation of digital tools discussed earlier to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of the internal audit function. It is also important for internal auditors to cultivate a blend of technical and soft skills combined with relevant experience and certifications to ensure effectiveness and career advancement. Technical expertise in risk management and internal controls is fundamental, while familiarity with industry-specific regulations, especially in sectors like finance and healthcare, helps auditors provide focused, relevant insights in complex environments. With the growing role of data analytics and automation in internal audit, proficiency in analytics tools like ACL, Power BI, SAS, and programming languages like R and Python is becoming essential. Knowledge of cybersecurity, cloud computing, and emerging technologies also provides a competitive edge. Recognized certifications such as the CIA, CISA, and Certified Fraud Examiner, all of which we will cover later, as well as the CFA and accounting certifications, demonstrate expertise and enhance prospects for senior roles. Leadership experience, project management, and strong critical thinking skills are key for those aspiring to managerial positions. Effective communication, both written and verbal, is crucial for explaining audit findings to diverse stakeholders and for persuading management to act on recommendations. Building strong collaborative relationships with auditees and control functions fosters cooperation and eases resistance to audit initiatives. Now, let's discuss how the CFA program complements the internal audit profession. While the CFA designation is not traditionally associated with internal auditing, it offers a unique skill set that can be highly valuable in internal auditing, especially in industries like finance and investment management. The CFA program aligns with internal audit in several key areas, including risk management, financial analysis, and governance. CFA charter holders bring specialized expertise in financial markets, derivatives, in investment strategies, as well as risk management, which is valuable when auditing financial institutions or firms with complex financial structures. For example, in the banking sector, CFA-trained auditors are well versed in risk management techniques such as value at risk, stress testing, and scenario analysis, as well as credit, market, and investment risk, which are all critical for evaluating a bank's risk management processes. The CFA programs focus on financial statement analysis, understanding of accounting standards, and insights into corporate finance decisions, equip CFA auditors with strong capabilities for auditing financial statements and financial reporting processes. The CFA program emphasizes ethics, corporate governance, and compliance frameworks, which are foundational to the internal audit role. Also, in heavily regulated sectors like banking and financial services, CFA knowledge of investment regulations and compliance framework is especially valuable for internal auditors. The CFA program offers a global perspective on financial markets, economic trends, and regulations, which helps internal audit managers consider external influences on an organization's risk profile. In my experience, obtaining the CFA charter has significantly enhanced my effectiveness in my current role, and I believe that the addition of CFA charter holders in internal audit units strengthens the team's capacity to assess financial risks, improve governance, and ultimately benefit the organization. For internal audit professionals, particularly those in finance-centric sectors, pursuing the CFA designation can be a significant asset for skill enhancement and career growth. Other certifications which are relevant for the internal audit profession include the Certified Internal Auditor, CIA, Certified Information Systems Auditor, CISA, and Certified Fraud Examiner, CFE, all of which offer targeted knowledge for internal audit professionals. The CIA is a globally recognized certification which covers the essential principle of auditing, risk management, governance, and internal control frameworks. Notably, certified accountants can take the CIA Challenge exam, allowing them to complete the certification with one exam instead of 3 due to their accounting background. CISA is designed for professionals specializing on IT systems auditing, information security, and IT governance. It is gaining popularity both globally and in Cyprus due to the growing importance of IT governance, cybersecurity, and data protection. The CFE certification focuses on detecting and preventing fraud within organizations. All of the 3 qualifications are well known and respected globally and in Cyprus. They are typically more specialized and easier to obtain than the CFA, requiring less study time, usually 6 months to 1 year. The CFA, on the other hand, as you probably know, covers a broad range of financial topics and usually takes 3 years to complete and is considered more difficult due to depth and complexity of the material. Other professional certifications that are widely held by internal auditors, particularly in Cyprus, are accounting certifications like the ACA and the ACCA. Both are very well respected and broadly pursued in Cyprus and can be a valuable designation for internal auditors. The internal audit job market in Cyprus is strong and steadily expanding, reflecting the growing importance of internal audit functions in managing risk, ensuring compliance, and maintaining robust internal controls, especially in regulated industries. There are various factors influencing this growth. Cyprus's financial services industry is a major driver of demand for internal auditors. Financial services firms, including banks, insurance companies, investment firms, funds, and fintech companies, are required by regulators to maintain an internal audit function and regularly perform internal audit reviews. Increasing regulatory requirements, digital transformation, and cybersecurity concerns, as well as focus on ESG areas, have heightened demand for audits on these areas in both the financial services and other industries. As Cyprus is growing as an international business hub, attracting multinational companies across sectors such as shipping, investment funds, and real estate, demand is growing for internal auditors skilled in both local and international compliance requirements. There is also need for internal auditors in professional services firms in Cyprus. All of the Big Four accounting firms, as well as smaller audit firms, offer internal audit services to both local and international clients. Public and semi-governmental organizations, as well as companies listed on the Cyprus Stock Exchange, are expected to maintain internal audit functions to ensure accountability, transparency, and adherence to corporate governance codes. In some cases, internal audit activities are outsourced to external professionals. While we already talked about the difference in the internal audit role in most of these organizations, it is worth mentioning that internal auditors in professional services firms have exposure to different types of organizations as they work with a wide range of clients, including smaller and larger companies, public sector entities, local, foreign, or multinational organizations across various industries. Internal auditors in such firms may also get involved in other types of services, so there is a greater variety of tasks and experiences in such a role. The internal audit market in Cyprus is highly competitive, considering the highly educated and skilled workforce, as well as the robust professional services sector. As already mentioned, many professionals hold accounting certifications like the ACA and the ACCA, which are highly regarded in the field. For those aiming to enhance their competitiveness, pursuing specialized certifications such as the CIA, the CISA, or the CFE provides valuable skills tailored to internal auditing, while the CFA may offer a unique edge for roles emphasizing financial analysis and risk assessment. There are various paths for career advancement within the internal audit profession. Internal auditors can progress upwards within the internal audit unit, moving into managerial functions, or they may transition into other departments across the organization. Many internal auditors begin their careers in auditing and eventually move into roles within other departments, as internal audit provides a comprehensive understanding of how the organization operates and allows professionals to gain exposure to various aspects of the business. In fact, one of the main reasons internal audit units lose talent is that auditors often move to other departments within the organization, leveraging their risk and control expertise. Additionally, internal auditors may transition to other employers, either continuing in the internal audit unit or moving into related fields such as compliance, finance, or operational management. To wrap up, the role of the internal audit manager is dynamic, balancing both strategic oversight and hands-on involvement in safeguarding an organization's integrity and resilience. While challenges in the field are evolving, they also bring opportunities for those who invest in skill development. Combining traditional internal audit certifications with the CFA can be particularly valuable, enhancing an auditor's expertise in financial analysis, governance, and risk management. In Cyprus, the job market for internal auditors is robust, competitive, and steadily expanding, offering many paths for career growth, both within internal audit and across other organizational roles. Ultimately, the profession offers a unique opportunity to contribute to organizational resilience, transparency, and effective risk management, making it a rewarding path for those dedicated to integrity and improvement. I hope you found this webinar insightful, and I would be happy to address any questions you may submit after watching. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.